Hey Guru Nation, welcome back to the clinicaltrialsguru.com. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to the blog. You don't want to miss out. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here for a while, thank you. Welcome again. So the way this works is you ask me questions and I'll do a video. I'll keep you anonymous. And you can ask me a question any way you want. Email dan@theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Call or text 949-415-6256, or social media, right? Like Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn, everything, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you're comfortable using, reach me there, okay? So today's question, it's in regards to opening up your own research site and then the financial aspects involved with a startup and expenses and income. There's going to be a lot of ballpark figures thrown out right now, so every study's different. But from my experience over 11, 12 years now, is that these numbers are ballpark, but of course there's always variables. So when you start a site, the first question someone asks is, how much money do I need to save up in order to successfully keep it in business? And most businesses fail because they run out of financing, right? So they burn through all their cash and then they're not able to get any more funds and they have to close, right? That's why most businesses, like 9 out of 10 small businesses, fail in the first 2 years because they run out of cash. So you don't want that to be you. When you start a research site, there's a lot of variables, right? Are you sharing office space with a physician and that physician is already paying rent, so you may not need to pay rent there? That's one fixed cost that you don't have to worry about. You can pay the PI a percentage of the study budget as you get it. Or is that not the case and you do have to pay rent? I haven't seen a month-to-month lease in a while. 2 years minimum, so that's a lot of upfront risk that you're taking on a business that's unproven. Okay, so I recommend to everyone to at least start out with a physician that already has a private practice. Start small. You only need one study, and we're going to get into how much you can make from one study and what you can expect. Again, ballpark. Okay? Second question, do you have a coordinator, or are you going to be doing the coordinating work? The second variable. Coordinators, typically a salary is anywhere from 35 to 60K depending on their experience. I've seen them all higher than that max, and I've seen them lower than that max, but typically it's around 30 to 60K depending on experience levels and where you are located in the country and the cost of living, a whole bunch of other stuff. So factor that. Again, I recommend, if cash is important to you, which it should be because you're a startup, right? Even if you're loaded, it should still be important because your business is a startup, right? And so you have to be mindful of every dollar that you spend. So I recommend that you, the business owner, actually do the majority of the work and maybe just hire a research assistant, right? You can pay them $10 to $15 an hour as opposed to what a coordinator would make, which is more along the lines of $20 an hour. Okay, so you can save some money there. If you're the PI, obviously you need to hire a study coordinator, but you can help, if you're the owner, do a lot of the work as well to bootstrap. Other costs, like we have on our blog, and I'm going to have a link underneath here, but if you're on YouTube, go to the blog, theclinicaltrialsguru.com. I have a tab on the website that says open your own clinic with or without my help, and it lists every piece of equipment that you'll need, everything down to the waiting room chairs, and with links to where you can buy them online and for how much. We've done the math. It's about $6,000 to get the bare bones minimum equipment needed to run a research site or to open a research site. Centrifuge, refrigerator, medicine cabinets, all the equipment, waiting room chairs, desks, computers. It's all there. Go to the blog. $6,000 right there. There's really no way around that. Okay, and that's it as far as costs. Right. So as you can see, a lot of variables, but it doesn't take that much money to actually open a site. Now, when you get your first study, make sure that you negotiate startup payments, right? And then you typically have to invoice for these startup payments. So as soon as the contract's executed means you signed and agreed to the contract, the sponsor signed and agreed to the contract, now you have a fully executed contract. you invoice them immediately so you don't forget that day for the startup fees. Usually it's $5,000, sometimes it's $2,500, sometimes it's $7,000, and then you can throw in there the pharmacy fees, the archiving fees. Oftentimes they'll let you lump those all in together. If not, then you have to invoice separately. Every protocol is different, every sponsor is different. The point is you want to get this cash coming in as soon as possible because it takes at least 30 days from the time the sponsor receives the invoice to when you will probably see payment for those invoices, right? And if cash is important, I mean, $5,000 could be 2 or 3 months rent, maybe even more in some parts of the country. It could be 2 months salary for a coordinator. So that's important. I understand how important that is for research sites, especially startup sites. Invoice for that quickly so you get it fast, right? As fast as possible. And then in this industry, 30 to 45 days, sometimes 60 days. You'll have to also follow up with them constantly. So in the contract, there'll be the contact for who you can reach out to inquire about payments. So you're going to need to follow up with these people. You're going to need to get on a first name basis with them and just have regular communication with them so that they can keep you updated on when you should expect to receive the payment, right? Been there, done that. It's very important to know when cash is coming in and when expenses are going out, right? Now, to give you a ballpark of how much money you can make, again, this is very much ballpark. Every study is different. Each study that you get typically will allow, on average, 10 randomized patients per site is what your contract will allow. You can always ask for more if you reach 10, but they typically will cap you at 10. So 10 subjects per trial. On average, and again, every study is different. On average, there's about 10 visits per patient for your site. All right, so 10 patients, 10 visits for each patient. Each study visit grosses the site approximately $1,000, depending on the study. Every study is different, but just to keep things simple and easy math, $1,000 a visit, okay? So now if you have 10 patients that complete the study, all 10 visits at $1,000 per visit, that's $100,000 gross revenue for your site, all right? Now, I've never been involved in a study where all 10 patients that you randomize complete the study, all right? It doesn't happen. You have dropouts. 3 out of 10 will drop out. Then you'll also have screen failures, but you can invoice for those screen failures, so make sure you invoice for them. All right, so on average, again, very rough ballpark figure, $100K gross revenue per study that you get. So I'm telling you this in order for you to just guesstimate what your revenues could be for a given year. So if you know that you're going to have 3 studies that year and you feel pretty confidently about enrolling, you know that you're going to have $300,000 in revenue if you can fill those studies up with patients and they all complete. That should give you more knowledge and more information about whether you can hire a coordinator, whether you can extend that lease, whether you can move out of your doctor's office into a bigger place and expand. Hopefully this helps, right? Let me know what your thoughts are. Dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.